So, I just watched Guillermo del Toro's, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, version of Pinocchio, which is now on Netflix. And I'm gonna be spoiler free as I can in this thoughts on watching, but this is my favourite Pinocchio now, easily. Easily, and that is including the original, Disney version. This is my favourite. Very easily my favourite. So, yeah, the stop motion in this is absolutely fantastic. It is up there with the hikes of Leicas and Aardmans. Though it looks absolutely fantastic. This is top tier stuff. It looks absolutely amazing. The only thing is, I really wish this got a 4K Blu-ray release. If it does, I'll definitely pick it up because it looks so good. It does look so good. It's absolutely incredible, and it feels, a lot more real. You always get that different feel with stop motion, and things feel weightier, they feel harsher. But anyway, so if you were hoping for a more accurate Pinocchio, more accurate to the book, no. In fact, this one goes even further off in the other direction. Yeah, this one is not accurate to the book whatsoever. But you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. This tells the same overall story, but it tells it in a very different way a lot of the time. For example, the setting is still Italy. However, this is now set during the events of World War Two, or at least it seems to be. There's a lot of Nazis in this, yeah, particularly in the second and start of the second act, particularly a lot of Nazis in there. For example, I'm going to minor spoilers, although I'm assuming, everyone watching this is seeing at least probably the Disney version of Pinocchio, but there's no Pleasure Island in this. No Pleasure Island. Instead, what we have is a boys' training camp. A Nazis boys' training camp. Yeah, I'm assuming that's meant to replace Pleasure Island, because that's the only, because it takes place at the same, parts of the story and everything. So, yeah, I'm assuming that. Something I will say is a lot better is giving more logical reasons for things. For example, there's been a lot of talk about, it's like, why does Geppetto just send Pinocchio off to school the day after he was essentially born or made or whatever? In this version, a much more logical reason is given is that he is forced to. He doesn't want, he doesn't particularly want to. In fact, he's a bit, you know, reluctant about it. But yeah, he's essentially forced into it by a Nazi officer. They're never called Nazis in this, but they are Nazis because you got the Nazi salute and the ban on there, but obviously they're not shown to be Nazis and that. They're just shown to be something else that is clearly a Nazi. But obviously, since it's 2022 and that's just like, yeah, you can't really show that type of stuff. So, but the parallel is basically obvious. So I like little things like that. Like, okay, there's a reason to it, and also I love the fact that Pinocchio is made a lot more naive in this. He doesn't know anything. I mean, that was the biggest problem of the Disney 2022 Pinocchio, in that he did have a moral compass. He did clearly know right from wrong and had a conscience. Whereas this Pinocchio, he doesn't. He doesn't know what is right from wrong. He doesn't basically know anything. I mean, his initial, and also this is partly a musical as well. I mean, Pinocchio's first song is about him basically asking, "What is this for? What does this do? What is its name?" Essentially smashing up the place a bit. But yeah, And I do, I do like the look of this Pinocchio. It's like he looks very different. He looks, one like wood, but also this one does get in a lot darker. There's a lot darker teal. For example, Geppetto, you'll have seen in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, they don't just show a quick flashback to Geppetto's son. No, 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 no. They have the first 10, 10, 15 minutes of the film with Geppetto and his alive son back then. They have a 15-minute flashback showing their lives, and you get to know them enough. So then when he does die, it actually does mean something because in that brief time you do get to know their relationship. It's just enough time in order to, care in what's going to happen. Now, there is sort of hints that the soul of him is transferred into Pinocchio, but this is never confirmed. And yeah, it's also in this. I love the fact that in this that they go into the fact that Pinocchio, is his own person. Geppetto keeps trying to basically make him exactly like his dead son. He wants him to be exactly the same. And yeah, Pinocchio isn't like he's kind of. It kind of reminds me of what they did in the Astro Boy movie back in 2011. That CGI film, I kind of reminds me in that direction. Except I believe it is done a lot better here because Geppetto's gonna like, that harsh and that about it, I guess, or that direct. Geppetto himself is played fantastically by David Bradley, and yeah, I think he's probably the same. Although saying that, Pinocchio, they clearly got a kid to voice Pinocchio, and I was a little worried about his voice initially, but you know what? His voice is not annoying, and his voice never grates on you. It's just enough. It's just enough to the level that they don't try to make him, super cute or anything like that. He basically just sounds like just a regular boy. And yeah, this film just has strong performances across the board to go with strong, animation, strong direction. And a lot of it does, have the same sort of tail, but it does a lot of different things, and I won't be spoiling it. I won't be spoiling it, although there is one thing. I'm going to talk about the ending, but warning now, warning to spoiler warning to everyone, because I'm going to spoil the ending to this version of Pinocchio, because that is the one thing I would like to talk about. That is spoiler 3, so yeah, go see this, basically go watch this on Netflix right now, and if you're lucky enough to have it, because I think it is getting a release in some cinemas, but if you're lucky enough to see this in a cinema, I would recommend it. But spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So in this version, basically, Pinocchio cannot die. That is something that is established throughout. Pinocchio, just can't die. However, the one thing he has to do is basically spend however long the time in an hourglass, in this hourglass lasts for, with the Blue Fairy's sister. And basically, during the climactic third act, Geppetto is drowning in the water. And yeah, Pinocchio says, "You've got to send me back immediately." And basically, the only way that he can get back before, the sang timer runs out is to smash the sang timer. However, this would mean that Pinocchio would then lose his ability to always come back. He would only have the one more life. And Pinocchio then saves Geppetto. And I thought, for a second there, I thought they might make this the case of, oh, well, he becomes a real boy in that sense. But no, he's dead. He's dead right there and then. So it's like, okay. But then Jiminy Critic, who's a can't remember his first name. He's given a much, longer name than this, but Jiminy Cricket essentially has one wish to give to the Blue Fairy, and he wishes that Pinocchio comes back to life, which he does. And by doing that, he also brings him back, probably in that for good. It's not said whether he, cannot die again, or when he does die, he'll then just come back. It's never stated whether that is the case or not. But what I like about this is it shows Geppetto and everyone else that Pinocchio knew and loved, and this is something he's warned about. That is the consequence of that. Everyone around him dies that he knew and loved. And I really like that ending. It is the braver, more powerful ending for me, personally. It would be so easy to just do a cop-out ending with this. And to be honest, I wouldn't have minded if they just did the regular ending where he became a real boy, or if he just did the ending where, he didn't die and he did survive, but he only had like the one life. So yeah, but no, Pinocchio never grew up physically. But assumedly, though, he probably did mentally, in a certain sense. But yeah, then Pinocchio just kind of goes off and that into the world. But yeah, that ending is, to be honest, my preferred ending of that to it. That Pinocchio, just goes on, and he may die. It said that he may die someday. He may not. Who knows? Probably will. But yeah, I do really enjoy that ending. And I think it's a better one to, understand that, especially for children who are watching this, that, you will go on, and that your parents and, other family members will, unfortunately pass on, but you will still be there, and you've got to go on and that out of the world and that on your own regardless. And I think that's, to be honest, a better lesson and more powerful one to end on, but it is a fantastic ending. And the music in this film is, I should have mentioned this before, the music is also fantastic as well. I do quite like the songs in this, because, funny, because I'm not a big, I don't really like musicals, but I did like the music in this one, and thankfully, the songs don't outstay there. Well, calling it a musical is weird, because most of the songs are kind of in the middle type part, that they mainly take up, like, for example, the first song, and that, yeah. Can you tell I'm not making much sense if you look at the time in the top corner? Yeah, I'm just kind of rabbiting on. But overall, yeah, go watch it.